Well, Dav, last game of the season, coming up against Tranmere. What do you want from this final match? You've been in charge for these two games. What are you looking for?
To be completely honest, I want a Newport County performance, and what I mean by that is I want to see a fighting spirit. I want to see aggression. I want to see a competitive edge to us. I want to see us look to get more attacking outcomes, and I want us to defend our goal a little better. I think there's been a lot this season, which some might feel like we've come away or feel disassociated with what a Newport County team looks like and feels like, and that's been the main message all week. I want to see a Newport County performance. I want to give everybody a great afternoon on Saturday to finish off what's been a disappointing season.
Yeah, that must be important because it's been a couple of months, hasn't it, since the last win and since you won here. So just putting a smile on those fans' faces.
It's so important. I've been here 2 years now, and the supporters here, in my opinion, one of a kind. And they're a special group. I can really relate to them. I've been where they are, and the support that they give these lads in this football club up and down the country is one of the best I've seen. And I feel for them. I feel their disappointment. I feel their frustration, and I'd love nothing more than to give them that feeling of, yeah, at 5 o'clock on Saturday, I've watched Newport County today.
And what can you tell them about next season? There's so many uncertainties at the moment. As they come here for this final game, what can they expect from next season? I mean, it's difficult, I suppose, to answer that question, but what hope have they got for the future?
Yeah, I think a lot of the logistics, it's got nothing to do with me really in terms of decision making on manager. I'm sure the guys behind the scenes are really busy in terms of recruitment. What I'd like to think that they'll see next year is something that they can relate to in terms of those non-negotiables. You know, they turn up to every game with a squad of players that are willing to outwork, outrun, outfight the opposition, and meanwhile trying to have a little bit more control of games. In terms of what happens off the pitch, I haven't got the answers for you, but I'd like to think that next season they can come back and hopefully that starts Saturday. You know, the lads have had a good week. We've tried to shift a couple of the mindsets and a couple of the principles in terms of how we approach the game and how we play the game, and hopefully they can see a Newport County performance Saturday, and that gets the juices flowing ready for next season.
And what do you know about what's going on behind the scenes? I think you said last week you hadn't had a conversation with anyone. Have you had a chat with the chairman or anything about next season, about your own future?
Not next season, no. So I think because of what happened last Thursday, it all happened very, very quickly. Just to give you an insight of that, we turned up Thursday and it happened. So the session was quite a tricky session, and then obviously we had Friday and we were travelling to Fleetwood. So it's very much for myself, and that's something that I need to get across to the players, just to take things day by day. I think that's really, really important in order for us to focus on what's the most important thing for me at the minute, which is delivering something on Saturday.
So the chairman hasn't said anything about next season?
No.
Do you want to stay here? Would you want to manage the club if they did offer you that opportunity?
Whatever capacity it is, I would love to stay. As I said, I've had a really good 2 years here. I was delighted when Graham called me, what would that be now? Yeah, nearly 2 years ago, asking me to come on board. I worked with Graham at Bristol Rovers, got a great relationship with him, had an excellent season last year, and obviously that role, that capacity changed slightly this year, which was an absolute honour, and equally what an honour it's been to sort of step in as an interim and represent this football club as a head coach for this last week of the season. It's been fantastic. Probably a good opportunity as well to thank all the staff and all the players for their hard work in that short period. You know, we've got another session tomorrow. We've had a great session here in front of the supporters this afternoon. So yeah, in whatever capacity it is, I'd love to be a part of it. I do think it's an exciting time for the club mid to long term. Yes, things need to change. Yes, we need to learn from a lot of things. But equally, if we can maybe bring back that Newport County feeling on a Saturday afternoon, then I think it would be a really enjoyable place to be, and something I'd love to be a part of.
Would you want the top job? Do you feel you'd be ready for it if you were offered it?
I 100% trust my ability and my capabilities as a coach and as a head coach. Equally saying that, I want the right person. I want the right person to sort of manage this football club as a head coach. This football club deserves that, the supporters deserve that, and I have no doubt that the chairman and other people behind the scenes are working hard to find the right person. And if the right person comes in, if I can support that person in any capacity, I'd absolutely love to. As I said, I think my values and my characteristics really align with what this football club is about, and I'd love to bring that to the table.
Just the last question on this, because I appreciate that it's not really you can answer all these questions,
yeah.
But what do you think needs to happen? Do you think the club needs to make an appointment sooner rather than later, whoever it is? Because last year it's quite late in the summer, wasn't it, by the time that Nelson got appointed?
Yeah, I think in any case, if we're being completely honest, like, the earlier the better, because that means that person, that individual has got more time. So yeah, I think it goes without saying, earlier the better.
Great, thank you. Do you want me to do the Welsh? Do you want to go and then I'll do the Welsh? Or?
Shall I crack on with it? Shall I go first? Yeah, just how do you think the state of the squad this time to this time last year? How do you assess what this shape you're in?
I think the makeup of the group is different. You know, you'd be lying if you said that it was the same. I think obviously we've got lads that have come into the football club from different backgrounds, whether it be 21s, whether it be Welsh League, whether it be non-league, and equally we've got those senior lads in and around it as well. So there's a real mix and a real blend. I can only sort of say that you'd like to think, and I'm pretty confident in saying that off the back of this year, those lads that have come into this environment that maybe haven't been exposed to it in the past are going to be better for it, and those individuals will be in a better place going into next season.
Is that grit and steel that something probably is in the history? Is that something that you feel that you and everyone will be working hard to bring in then?
100%.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's absolutely vital. For me, when you represent this football club, you have to have that. For me, that's a non-negotiable. And I think you can influence behaviours. So, you know, I think a lot of the lads are a product of the environment as well. I think we've got a responsibility to influence and try and change behaviours and shift mindsets. That's something that we've looked to do this week, about having that sort of that fighting spirit, that bit of grit, determination and steel about you. And if you haven't got that in every session, it's very difficult to do on a Saturday afternoon. So, but yeah, to answer your question, 100%, that's something that we have to have as its football club.
And that absence of it, it's not really been here that it's shown as much as away from home, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so I think here there have been more examples of what it takes to represent that badge on your chest. I think that sort of DNA is evident more so in home games than it has been away. So, you know, our away form, our away performances and the type of goals that we concede away from home has to significantly improve next season. You know, there have been a couple of examples, in my opinion, where, you know, you've gone to a side and, you know, you're 1-0 up and they get a set piece or they get a little bit of territory or momentum in the game. The atmosphere shifts and we haven't been able to deal with that at times. Yeah. So little things like that, I think a lot of the lads will improve on for next year, just simply by experiencing it this year. But you know, we have to hit those non-negotiables and those mindset and the importance behind that every day.
Squad-wise, CBR, I take it, is he out?
Yeah, he's out unfortunately. So obviously he came off early on Saturday, which was a real shame in terms of what the game plan was. And so yeah, he's probably looking about 6 to 8 weeks. Okay. So yeah.
Any other injury, or is it pretty much the boys that were in Fleetwood?
Yeah, so we lost 5 at Fleetwood. So from the Monday game, obviously we lost Clarkey, so Clarkey's out. Jayden and Josh trained today for the first time, so probably touch and go a little bit for Saturday. And then we had a couple of others. We had Spellman, who's back, and Cam Evans and Tom Davis are back in contention as well, having had a little bit of a spell out. So again, a few positives going into Saturday.
2 academy lads, it was nice to see him on the bench.
Yeah.
Didn't get on, but
yeah,
could they still be in the mix?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, why not? I think it's really important. I think the academy at any football club is an important part of the football club. But I think especially here, I think that's something that the supporters like to see. And equally, if you haven't got the biggest budgets, then you're probably more reliant on getting that 1 or 2 in for the first team. And I think having that connection again next season is something to consider as well for the football club. I think that's really important. So Moses and Riley were with us on Saturday. They trained with us Friday, travelled with us Saturday. Unfortunately, didn't get on. I would have loved to have seen at least one of them get on, but I'm saying that like it wasn't my decision. But it'd have been great. But they've been with us this week, and hopefully they can get involved on Saturday. And so that connection's really important. Obviously, Aaron Wildig's sort of joined myself and Clarkey as well in terms of the coaching for the last week. Wildig's been doing a lot of coaching with the academy, so again bridging that gap a little bit. So he had his input in getting those lads up as well, which is fantastic.
That's great using him, because obviously he would have been frustrated to be out, but so he's been working with the academy boys, has he?
Yeah, he has. Yeah. So he's well into his coaching. Yeah. Obviously, his playing career is his main focus, but it was a good opportunity for him, given how bad the injury was, to utilise his experience and skill set, and obviously an opportunity for him to develop his skills as a coach as well. And equally, on the flip side of that, I'm pretty sure it's been great for the academy lads as well to have your club captain come down and take a couple of sessions and be around him. I'm sure everyone's learned a hell of a lot from that experience.
And if those two in particular can get a taste like Nelson and Jack did at the end of last season, it's just a little taste, isn't it, to make them come into pre-season with a... Yeah,
100%. As I said, it's really important. I'm a big believer in giving people opportunities, whether that be players or staff. So, I think that's really important.